Andrew Neil has said he expects the BBC to be begging him to take the job as its chairman after a Brexiteer and critic of the broadcaster's bias and licence fee was tipped for the top role. The ex-BBC presenter took to Twitter to respond to reports that former editor of The Telegraph and Spectator Charles Moore is Downing Street's first choice for the position. Mr. Neil, also thought to be a possible candidate, said he expects the BBC to be begging him to take it now, but added he has no interest in the job. He tweeted, BBC executives were choking on their muesli when it was reported that I was in the running to be next chairman of the BBC. I have no interest in the job. But now the Daily Mail is reporting Charles Moore is favourite for the post. First expect BBC to be begging me to take it. Mr. Moore argued earlier this year the corporation needs to change. Writing for The Telegraph in February, he said, "It is essential to understand that technological and generational change has already destroyed the BBC's century-old, wider still and wider, doctrine. It is simply not possible for it to dominate all fields any longer. The BBC must start to decolonize. It needs government help to do this in a dignified manner, more like British imperial decline than like the fall of the Soviet Union." Mr. Moore added that the broadcaster has a woke bias. He said, "This bias is not chiefly party political, though it is certainly anti-Tory. It is politico-cultural, woke, pro-Remain, credulously green, anti-market, obsessed with issues connected with diversity, yet itself not truly diverse at all. This means that the BBC excludes a vast range of people, views and activities which are important in the life of this country. If you had watched only the BBC in 2016, it would have come as an almost total shock to you when 17.4 million people voted Leave. The bias led to blindness. This means that it is not a good public service. I have studied the way this bias operates for a long time, and I am convinced that it will never reduce until the BBC's monopoly disappears." Mr. Moore also blasted the corporation over the licence fee, describing it as the greatest single wrong on which the BB crests. Sir David Clementis' three-year term as chairman of the BBC ends in February. A government source told the Mail on Sunday, Charles would shake things up, which is exactly what the BBC needs.